Hi, it's Rach here from off.road.cc and I have just reviewed the 2021 Nukeproof Mega. So keep watching for a full review of that brand new enduro bike. I have reviewed the new alloy version of the 2021 Mega, and because we like to review the less costly bikes here on off.road.cc, we have the 290 Comp here. That's the base spec bike which comes in at 2,700 quid. It's worth saying here that our next bike review will be the 2021 Vitus Escape CR29, which is a sub 2 grand 29er trail bike. So if you want to watch that review, then please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications so you get an email when that review goes live. But back to the Mega. So this bike is one of two aluminium bikes in the lineup. There's this one, the Comp, and then a Pro Spec which costs 3,400 quid. Our Comp has 29er wheels, so hence the 290 in the name, not the 275. And you can get this bike in this spec with either wheel size. Nukeproof says they also toyed with the thought of a mullet bike, but decided not to run with that in the lineup too. The frame itself is fairly well spec'd. It comes with mechanic-friendly tube-in-tube internal reading, and the big news is that there is now room for a water bottle inside the front triangle. That's something that didn't fit on last year's Megas. The place for the bottle is slung nice and low in the frame, and you can fit a larger 700ml bottle in there too. So, as much as I'd like to say that suspension layout is my #1 priority in frame design, we all know that secretly we do want to be able to carry a water bottle for hour-long laps without a bag. Elsewhere around this neat-looking frame, it's got boost spacing and there's rubber frame protection on the down tube and on the chainstays. The chainstay covering sort of mimics that contoured protection that was first launched by Specialized, and it's proven to be pretty effective. The bike is 170mm of travel up front and 160mm at the rear. Plus there is all new geometry for the 2021 bikes, but I'll get to that in a bit. First, let's take a look at the kit that you get for your money. There is a RockShox Yari RC fork. Now this is the more budget-friendly long travel fork in the RockShox range, so it has the same 35mm stanchions as the Lyric, but with a more basic motion control damper alongside that debonair air spring. The fork is stiff enough, but it does dive through the mid part of the travel easily, which is noticeable on prolonged steep terrain or big drop-offs. My fork on this medium bike comes fitted with one volume reducer, but I'd suggest that you experiment by adding another for more support. So when riding, this little bit of lack of support prevents you from feeling you can really lean on the front end, but it is something that is easily fixable. Although you might find with even more volume reducers, so say you put up to 3 in there, the fork spikes feels harsh as it ramps up during really big hits or hard landings. It is something that is cheap and easy to experiment with though. The rear suspension is dealt with by way of a RockShox Super Deluxe Select R shock. Now this is the first in a lineup of Super Deluxe shocks, which means it gets the basic rebound damping adjustment. That rear shock has the advantage of a piggyback, so piggyback shock, more for the money, giving you more oil volume and allow for expansion of this fluid and also a more consistent temperature, which should lead to a more consistent feeling shock. From the factory, Nukeproof adds 2 volume reducers to this shock as standard, but again there are experiments to be had here. I reckon that you could consider adding a 3rd, which is the maximum that you can put into this shock. So I used all of the travel quite frequently on the Mega, and I tried running a little bit less sag, so less than 30% to compensate, but it was adding a token that did the trick, allowing the shock to ramp up more near the end of the travel. In terms of other kit fitted to the bike, there is a Shimano Dior 12-speed drivetrain and Dior 4-piston brakes, so they're the M6100s. These use the new iSpec EV, which means that everything sits together on one clamp, which is nice and neat on the bars. The drivetrain and the brakes work seamlessly. Those 4-pot brakes have that classic Shimano on-off feel, but I reckon for a brake that, if you look at this at full retail, just costs 88 quid an end, they're pretty powerful for the money. The wheel and tyre combination are a set of Sunringle Duroc SD 37 comp wheels, which are fitted with Michelin Wild Enduro 2.4-inch Gum-X TS TLR tyres. The wheels look nice and are decently wide at 32mm internal diameter, but to be honest, the tyres aren't a highlight. The Gum-X compound isn't the tackiest that Michelin offer, they leave that to the Magi-X compound, and the Trail Shield carcass isn't as tough as I'd like. So setting my normal tyre pressures with these tubeless tyres saw me roll in the rear tyre. And there is a robust Gravity Shield carcass available for the Michelin tyres, which might be better suited to harder riding, but they aren't fitted on this bike. Final details for the spec come in the form of a neat little MRP chain guide and, unsurprisingly, a Nukeproof cockpit with a Brand X Ascend dropper post. That seat post, as you'd expect, is size specific, so our medium test bike gets 150mm dropper, the small bikes get 125mm, and the large and extra large get 170mm drops. The party trick of the 2021 Mega, and the bit that excites me the most, is the all-new geometry. The bikes all get a really decently steep effective seat tube angle, with thought given to the position of the rider given different seat or saddle heights within the range. So bear with me here whilst I geek out on something the brand call saddle offset. So this saddle offset measurement aims to maintain seat tube angles across the side range, which allow taller riders not to be left with a slacker effective seat tube angle as they run the saddle higher and therefore slackening the angle. This is pretty cool, and whilst at 160 centimetres tall for myself, I'm not really the target market for this on this medium bike. I can see how taller riders will benefit from getting a similar climbing feel that I have. After all, why should they get a less efficient bike just because they are taller? In terms of numbers, this bike gets a 77.5 degree effective seat tube angle, which steepens as you go up the size range. With bikes appearing with these types of angles at cheaper prices, there really is no need to choose a steed that isn't an efficient pedaler like the Mega. Pedalling uphill is not only comfy, it's efficient and it's easier too. The Mega is also nimble and responsive on techier climbs, despite its 15.6 kilos, which is 34.6 pounds of weight. As a well-known Enduro World Series race bike, you'll probably be unsurprised to hear that the Mega is a composed beast downhill too. Even in this base spec, you'll be hard pushed to really want to make any hurried upgrades, only perhaps some more winter-ready tyres if you buy one in the dark months. The head angle, I think admittedly could have been pushed out a little bit further, but at 64 degrees it's slack enough, with decent length chain stays too at 440mm, which makes this medium feel pretty balanced. The reach of this bike is 455mm, and I found that equated to a bike that felt roomy and purposeful on the trails. There is something definitely more sprightly and slightly less ground-hugging about the 2021 Mega than I expected. This could be attributed to a couple of things, such as the altered shock tune. The brand say that they've made it more progressive earlier in the stroke compared to last year. Or maybe it's the bottom bracket height that's erring on the side of high, or maybe it's just a combination of the two. Whatever it is, at times I did feel a little perched atop the bike rather than riding in the middle of it, and it did make me wonder if I'd be suited to the size large bike with a 475mm reach. That's a question for another day though. For now, the bike that I rode in its medium size felt like it towed a line between a long travel and a mid-travel trail bike. It's nimble, it's responsive, it's direct, and it pedals like you'd want to take it out all day, every day. In terms of competition, the affordable enduro category is certainly hotting up, and whilst £2,700 for this base spec bike may seem steep, look closely at the competition and there are flaws there which make the Mega seem like a good option. So for example, the cheapest YT Capra is £100 more, and you can't buy it from a shop, so you're missing out on that valuable support. It is carbon though if you like that sort of thing. Another option, the new Vitus Summit. Now that is a whopping £300 less than the Mega, and it's got a carbon front triangle. Though again, you can't buy it from the shop, and its internal cable routing isn't as well sorted as the Nukeproofs. Lastly, you could turn your thoughts to the common style Meta AM29. It's £100 more, but it comes in what I think is a lesser spec, so that gets SRAM SX with 2 piston brakes. But admittedly, that bike's geometry is even more progressive, so it's got longer reaches and steeper effective seat tube angles and slacker head angles than this Nukeproof. What's my final word on this bike then? Well, I'd say that if you can't decide if you want a mid-travel trail bike or an enduro bike that you want to pedal all day, then you want to turn your thoughts to a Mega. It's a nimble, planted bike that has great things going for it in terms of spec and frame detail. Plus, it pedals like you, on your best day, every day. As you hopefully know by now, we've also got a website, so the full review in writing is over on www.off.road.cc now. So just put Mega into the search bar at the top and it'll come up for you. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.